Hi everyone, welcome to another devlog on Hopper, a precision platformer slash rage game, you could say. I'm certainly starting to understand it's a bit of a rage game in a way. It's quite difficult, but I think it's a lot of fun. So far in the game, we've made our tutorial level, and in order to start making the first level, we need to start making those obstacles, right? Because the only obstacles we've had so far are the lily pads that we found in the tutorial level, and the blue blocks on all the testing levels that we've had. So I need to start transforming those blue blocks and visualizing them into actual identifiable objects, right? Into actual obstacles, or as a friend put it, frogstacles, which is terrible. So I began with sinking platforms. The idea here was essentially just to have a pillar of land, and once you land on it, it would undergo some kind of earthquake and causing it to sink. So you can see here, I'm just making some more pillars. And I jump on the lily pad onto the mainland. It starts to shake, starts to sink, and I just overshoot the last jump into the water. To cause that sinking effect and that shaking effect, there's a few things I did. One, I made an identical sprite behind the front one, made it a little bit more transparent, and wrote a script where it just moved left and right very quickly, causing this sort of shaking effect. Then I made this, best word I can think for it is spluttering, this sort of spluttering effect at the bottom of the land. Oh, and of course the camera shake. Next, I decided to do rising platforms. I decided to transform them into bubbles. So these are these giant bubbles that Ribbet could jump onto. I just need to do a couple of animations of when it compresses, and it gradually compresses more and more until eventually it starts to vibrate and then pop. Missed my first jump, I'm an idiot. And then, yeah. And because it's all physics based, you get this sort of downward and then gradual rise. And the angle in which you jump onto the bubble determines the trajectory of the platform, which is really interesting because then it gets you to think about what kind of jump you need to do onto the bubble if you want to reach the next one. And I also wrote a script where you can play around with some properties, such as its max speed, its acceleration, and the time when it pops. Which is great because I can have various sizes of bubbles, and each one is going to act a little bit differently, causing the player to kind of think on their feet a bit more once they're on there. So these are a lot of fun, and I also made small bubbles as well, which kind of swoosh away when you get close to them. They're just fun to play with, and they add a little bit of atmosphere as well, which I like. Next, what did I do next? Next I did moving platforms. Obviously let's go up and down, kind of like an elevator in a way, and I decided to do a spinning flower for this one, which was a lot of fun to animate. You have the slow spin for when you're descending, and then a fast spin to bring you back up again. At first I didn't really know how to do a fast spin because it all kind of smears together, you know, it just spins very quickly, it looks like one object basically. So there was only one cartoon I could think of as a reference that has spinning discs in it. Good old Beyblade. So as I was reliving my youth, I had a closer look at the frames, and essentially just you're going over the same lines of speed. It just changes the locations just slightly, and it just creates this illusion of speed. Because you can't land on the petals, you can only really land on that middle section. I don't know what it's called. I don't know my flower anatomy, I guess. Because you can only land on that middle part, they're actually quite tricky to jump on. And obviously once you jump on there, then it will take you up. Yeah, and I'm quite happy with how it looks. I might change the stem a little bit, just make it a bit smaller maybe. I don't know, it just kind of annoys me for some reason. I don't know why. Next platform, ice. So obviously we're in the hot jungle, so it doesn't make much sense to have an icy floor. So instead I decided to make slime. Put a load of slime on the grass tiles, and when you jump on them you get this splash of slime and this little trail of splatter as you kind of skid along the floor. I also did some dripping animations, which no one noticed. I didn't realise how small they were, so I'm going to have to change the size of them to make them a bit more obvious. And lastly, well, this one isn't an obstacle as such or a platform, it's the checkpoint. Right, because so far it's just been a ball that switches from red to green. And in the last video, I had the idea of giving it this sort of ghostly aura, which I did. Again, animating that was quite interesting. I think the trick is to draw all the frames for each section, right, the sort of bottom, middle and top, and then blend it all together until you get this nice flow effect. The ball itself is just a spherical rock, really, and it's just kind of floating there. And then when you collide with it, you get the dong, and then the aura comes up. So functionally speaking, it works very well. People generally recognise it's a checkpoint, right? The only thing is that I get mixed responses when someone sees a floating rock there and they ask me, why is there a floating ball? And I'm in that awkward situation of saying that just play the game. Okay, I guess, you know, does it fit within the context of the game? My answer to that is I don't really know, because it probably will later on. It's not right to overthink it, I think. So those are the platforms and the checkpoint. The next phase, I'm going to make a couple of more obstacles and start creating that jungly, is that a word? Jungly? Yeah, apparently. A jungly background. And start putting together the first level, like the first proper level. Which is really exciting because that means I'll probably ask for some volunteers to help play test the game for me. And I guess start this cycle, the painful cycle, of getting feedback and making changes and hopefully start making an enjoyable game. But for now, that's it. And if you have any ideas, please leave them in the comment section. And thank you for watching.